Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla and the new show Overflow episode 32. Tesla's demand continues to be strong and Tesla is still the leader in the world's BEV race. And Mercedes, a full self-driving tech drive pilot, was tested by a journalist, and it is still a very limited system. But we are seeing that even mainstream media is now starting to believe that Tesla's Robo taxis will outperform Waymo both in cost and scale. And code has been found in Tesla software that in-car Croc will also get a new language tutor personality. And Tesla's full self-driving continues to do some extremely impressive maneuvers. And sodium batteries from China are now being used in real-world applications, meaning that no rare earth materials being used in those batteries. And Tesla has become the #1 stock among Korean investors. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla's demand continues to be strong and Tesla is still leading the world in the BEV race. By a lot. So, in the news show Sunday, I shared this chart from the UK by Roland, and if Tesla's directory continued, they should win the race in Q1 in the UK as the best-selling EV brand. But here, only 3 days later, we can see that Tesla has now overtaken Ford. So even though this is one of Tesla's worst quarters in many years in the UK, and it is the best quarter ever for Ford, Tesla has just passed Ford for the second place and is now coming for Volkswagen. Because if Tesla continues this way, which they usually do by the end of the quarter, they will end up being the #1 EV brand in the UK in Q2 2025. But if we look at the global sales, the Model Y was once again, even with the refresh happening in Q1, the Model Y became the best-selling BEV model in the world. So despite having only inventory of the old version and showing off the new version on the 10th of January and starting delivering of the new one in small numbers in March, the Model Y still managed to be the best-selling EV in the world from January to April 2025. According to new data from EV volumes, Tesla sold about 259,000 units of the Model Y. To put it into perspective just how dominating the Model Y really is on a global scale, when they are hardly making any new units and retooling all 4 factories and having the worst quarter in a very long time because of it, it still sells more than any other model on the planet. It is still not even close. The #2, well, that is still Tesla with the Model 3, and then come BYD's little Seagull, the little tiny EV that cost a fraction of the Model Y. And the Wuling Mini EV, of course, on 4th. And as Nick pointed out, this is the $6,200 Wuling Mini EV that is sold in China. The Tesla Model Y sold more than double the amount of units than it in China from January to April, despite costing 6 times more. Just very, very impressive what Tesla is able to pull off with the Model Y, especially with the refresh in mind. But as you can see, the 2 best-selling EVs are Teslas and the rest are Chinese. Not a single Western EV model is among the top 10 best-selling models in the world. Again, a little tap with a hat for the Xiaomi SU7 that did in Q1 become the world's 6th best-selling EV model, even when it's only been sold in China, and it started production in March last year. Just all very impressive. And Roland also shared Tesla's weekly sales, and as I said last week, after the low numbers and people started screaming about Tesla's sales has collapsed in China, I said it would rise again, and it did. Tesla insurance registration came in at 15,500 units for the week of June the 9th to the 15th. So the highest in the quarter. And I will bet you that we will see high numbers for the last 2 weeks of the quarter as well. And then it will of course drop off again as Tesla will start exporting vehicles from China, and Fred Lambert will probably come out and tell us all how Tesla sales in China has collapsed again. But now you have been warned about the FOD that is coming in the beginning of July, but you now will know why Tesla sales in China will go down again in July. But compared to the competition in China, Tesla sales last week were also outstanding and the one that rose the most in units, as Tesla is the one that is ramping production. But Tesla is also the number one seller of new cars priced over 200,000 yuan in China so far this year. So the narrative that Tesla is struggling in China is just completely BS. How can they be struggling when they are the one that is selling the most? Makes no sense. But even when Tesla is down because of the retooling of the Model Y production line in all 4 factories all at once in the same quarter, making it a very bad quarter for Tesla in terms of unit sales, no one managed to come even close to the success of the Model Y and the Model 3. And now it's all over. That was the chance the others had. Now Tesla is ramping up the Model Y again, starting to have it available in inventory around the world. As Sawyer also pointed out, the new Model Y was the best-selling BEV in Australia in May 2025 by a wide margin. As you can see, the number 2 sells about 5 times less. So there really still isn't much we can truly call competition for the Tesla Model Y. There is a lot of talk about how the competition is hurting Tesla, but Tesla is still leading the race on a global scale with the Model Y, and no other model is even close. And now they will just continue to ramp up in the last 2 quarters of 2025. So we are seeing play out pretty close to how I have been predicting it. Like I said back in 2024, that in Q1 would be a tough quarter because of the refreshed Model Y, not because of any politics. And as I have said before, it could hurt Tesla sales with as much as 100,000 units. So far in Q1, Tesla was down 50,000 units. So let's see how much Q2 will be down, because I think we will see a pretty normalized Tesla in Q3, and I think we will see new records in Q4. That will of course mean that 2025 will probably not grow very much, if at all, but if Tesla completes a record in Q4, that should show us that Tesla is back in growth mode. And we have passed the in-between growth wave that Tesla has been talking about since the beginning of 2024. And Mercedes, a full self-driving tech, the Drive Pilot, was tested by a journalist and is still a very limited system, and shows how far away from true full self-driving tech legacy automakers truly are. But even mainstream media is now starting to get that Tesla has a huge advantage both in cost and scale. It is still only allowed to drive 95 kilometers and only stay in the right lane, so it can't overtake or anything. The system relies on a network of sensors, stereo cameras, radar, LiDAR and ultrasonic sensors, constantly scanning the environment and analyzing traffic 100 times per second. Yet this autonomy comes with caveats. Drive Pilot only works with the right lane, requires a lead vehicle, and disengage in poor weather, construction zones, or when emergency vehicles are present. Safety comes first, explains Mercedes developer Alexa Bond. If people are on the road or equipment is present, the scenario becomes unpredictable for the electronics, and we hand responsibility back to the driver. While the author enjoyed periods of hands-free relaxation, watching movies, answering emails, and even drafting the article itself, frequent interruptions reminded him that fully autonomous remained elusive. Still, the experience was positive. In the 3 hours and 57 minutes from Brussels to Frankfurt, I watched an entire Hollywood film, caught up on emails, and wrote this article's first draft. The journey was longer than usual, but fuel consumption dropped and the risk of speeding ticket was virtually eliminated. Mercedes aims to allow autonomous driving at 130 km an hour in the future, but as Bond cautions one of Mercedes' engineers, that won't happen before the end of the decade. So I think Tesla will get unsupervised full self-driving approved in Europe before Mercedes will have the right lane driving tech ready for 130 kilometers an hour. But if it can still only drive behind another car and only in the right lane, it doesn't really matter much to get it to be able to drive 130 kilometers an hour, as you rarely do that in the right lane. So it really seems like Tesla will have a much better system ready much faster than what Mercedes is able to do here, as even Mercedes' own engineers don't think they will have their right lane full self-driving tech ready with true highway speed before the next decade. Well, at that point, I will bet that Mercedes tech will be very obsolete. So even though someone like Gary Black thinks that every other automaker will have full self-driving tech within the next 6 months from now, well, even Mercedes themselves don't even think they will have anything that is 100% full self-driving within this decade. So that really don't work well for Gary's prediction. And even Bloomberg is now starting to get it. So the tides are really shifting. How many videos have I made trying to tell people that Waymo has no cost advantage over Tesla and they can't scale their technology? Well, now even Bloomberg is saying they think Tesla's robotaxis cost is 1/7 of a Waymo's. And as we can see on this chart, they expect Tesla to have 35,000 robotaxis by 2026 and Waymo 2,000. So they expect Tesla's fleet to be 18 times bigger than Waymo's already by 2026. But I actually think Tesla's numbers could be very conservative here, but let's hear it from Bloomberg themselves.
Tesla's vehicle cost is about 1/7 of Waymo's. Why were you so focused on that, Steve?
Well, I think it's a critical piece in getting it on a commercial basis, on a mass scale basis. And also, the payback is also important. If you can produce the cars at a fraction of the price, look, you can get more of these vehicles out on the road. And also, whoever's running them can actually make their money back much sooner.
The issue you really highlight is the lack of production of real vehicles by Waymo versus Tesla that just has hundreds of thousands of millions on the road already. Is that the key dividing factor here, Steve?
That's one key dividing factor. I think technology is also important. I don't want to discount Waymo's technology. I think they have had a number of cars on the road. It's working. There's always going to be some issues here and there. But look, I think if you look at Tesla's technology and their approach with using cameras, it's just much easier to scale. And especially now, if you look at the recent news, the Chinese are actually opening up the market for them, and allowing them to export some of that training data out of China. That's a huge win for Tesla and scaling over the long term.
But even though I think the numbers for Tesla are a little bit low, Sawyer pointed out how fast the numbers get kind of crazy just with 35,000 units, as he wrote. Even if Tesla has just 35,000 robotaxis in its active fleet in 2026, as Bloomberg predicts, that's about 5 million fully autonomous robotaxi rides per week, a rate of 250 million rides per year. The numbers get crazy pretty quickly as it scales up. But so nice to see mainstream media actually starting to get it now, that Tesla might be an order of magnitude bigger than Waymo already next year. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Green the Only found some cool stuff in the Tesla code, as he wrote. In-car Grok also got a new language tutor personality. From doctors and therapists, storytellers and sexy to unhinged. Sound to me like we will be able to have a lot of fun talking to our car in the near future. But getting a Tesla now is also a no-brainer, as Tesla also pointed out on X. Teslas drive themselves anywhere full self-driving supervised is available, not just selected highways, so that will be the US, China, Canada and Mexico, and have the lowest running cost, are engineered to be the safest cars on the road and keep getting better over time with free over-the-air software updates. Yep. And my old Tesla Model 3 from 2019 also got a new feature, because now when I'm charging at home, I don't have to get my phone out of my pocket and open the phone app and open the Tesla app and press the release button for the cable. I can just pull the handle and hold it for 3 seconds and it will let the cable free. Very cool. And Omar shared a video of full self-driving handling some extremely impressive navigation between some tight spaces. As there is a car parked on the road, it goes around the car but also the pillars on the road and in between two pillars, very slowly of course, very carefully, but it does it. Very impressive maneuver from Tesla's software. And Cybertruck X also shared a video of Tesla's software version 13 parking itself into his garage. Very, very impressive.
Okay, it did park on my driveway. Hold on. My garage is open. So will it go? Okay. In the past, it has done. It comes out from the garage with no problem. Like I put on an address. I put an address on my GPS and it does. But this time it came all the way to the garage, back parked in my garage. Isn't this amazing? This is the first time.
Yes, I don't think people get how game-changing this technology is until they try it out themselves, just like Mike posted on X. Drove the new Model Y 1,100 miles this week, all through New England and back to Philadelphia, full self-driving the entire time. I will never be the driver on any road trip ever again unless it is a Tesla with full self-driving. You must live with it to understand. Full self-driving is flip phone to smartphone, phone book to Google, stairways to escalators, hand grinder to electric grinder, fire to gas stove. It's a step change technology that is irreplaceable once lived with it. And if you hear people saying that Tesla's full self-driving software can't see in direct sunlight, well, Sawyer proved otherwise, as he wrote, "Yesterday I drove my Model Y on full self-driving version 13.2.9 for 65 kilometers in heavy sun glare, both on and off the highway, in light and heavy traffic. No issues or interventions. The glare was much worse in person than it looks on the video. Just sharing, since some say Tesla's full self-driving can handle blinding sun." And it seems there are more and more people that are getting excited about Tesla's future, as Musk Economy wrote on X. Tesla now #1 stock among Korean investors. Tesla is the #1 most held stock in Korea. 702,000 investors hold $14.7 billion worth of Tesla shares. 90% of them own less than 100 shares, but they are all in. And I do get why they are getting exciting now. And Brian Boson shared Valor Consultancy prediction that Starlink will secure 39% share of connected commercial aviation market by 2034. Starlink has brought to market a high-quality IFC service that airlines and business jet fleet operators are glowing with praise for. Yep, every aircraft is going to have it at some point, or they will not be able to compete with the ones that have good, high-speed, reliable internet on board. And Tesla Megapack wrote on X, 10 years from now, the majority of grid system strength will be provided by grid-forming inverters. Listen to the whole interview with Joseph, Regional Director for Tesla Energy APAC below. Yes, I highly recommend it. It is very, very interesting. And yes, like I have been saying for 6 years now, to people that have been saying that the grid can handle all the electric vehicles, well, it's not only the car industry that is being disrupted with EVs, so is the entire grid, energy generation and consumption. If you want to learn more about it, definitely go check out the interview with Joseph. And Alex shared some cool new battery tech from China. China has launched the world's first sodium-powered passenger train. This is not a prototype, it is a passenger train powered by battery made from one of the most abundant elements on Earth. There are valid use cases to use sodium instead of lithium. The train has been developed by CRRC in partnership with Chinese University, and its battery can charge in just 30 minutes and offer a range exceeding 350 kilometers per charge. This is very cool. Sodium batteries being used in real-world application. And to the people that don't know, sodium batteries don't really use any rare earth materials. So, as we have been saying for a long time, battery technology will only get better and better, and when sodium batteries or something else becomes good enough and cheap enough for scale for cars, we will not even need to dig up rare earth materials anymore, but the ICE cars will need to dig up crude oil for an eternity. And don't forget that Tesla has not said anything else but that they are on track with the new affordable models coming out in June. So we should hopefully have 2 new models starting in production in the next 2 weeks. What an exciting time we are heading into. That is all we have time for in this Overflow News Show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And it's completely free. But if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos behind the scenes and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching, and until next time, take care out there and be nice.